up, Dokkaners? Welcome back to Tsunami for another video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. In today's video, we are looking at the Space Traveling Warriors. Now, some of you might be thinking, wow, Toon, finally, it's been long overdue. You're right. I have a very good reason as to why this category has taken so long for me to beat it. It's because I couldn't beat it. Why couldn't I beat it? RNG. I have never seen such ridiculous bad luck on a category this many times. It was some of the most traumatic experiences I've ever had in Dokkan.
Oh my god!
I still think that the PTSD that I got from the 800,000 plus damage that I took from the power absorption will be the worst thing I've ever seen. But this was pretty close because it was hours and hours of my day just gone. So I've been, working through all the categories. I don't have too many left. I have 2 more. So I thought, all right, you know what? I better crank down and work on these 2. Because throughout my days of doing these videos, I actually have been trying Space Traveling Warriors each and every day. At least once, maybe twice. But RNG has been so bad that I have been failing every single time I've tried. Why? See where that Goku is on the leftmost side right now against the AGL? Consider the start of the fight looking like that, where Goku goes first before you get to do anything. Literally 5 or 6 times today, or yesterday, because this video is uploading the next day. 5 or 6 of the times that I ran this yesterday, Goku opened with an attack, and that attack was a super. Out of those 5 or 6 runs, 2 or 3 of them, when they went to the second and third rounds, both had the exact same situation take place where the very first Goku launched a super attack. Now, I don't know if this is just the worst luck in the world or I'm paying the price for that Ice Shenron dodging spree that happened a couple videos ago on Super Battle Road, but I gotta tell you guys, I absolutely despise that, and I think that there needs to be some sort of a rule. At the very least, for the first round, you cannot have the Goku attack first. It's just not fair. It's literally not fair. You have no chance to defend yourself or take any sort of countermeasures. You can't do anything. I feel like they should at the very least prohibit any unit from attacking you on the very first turns, very first slot in these tougher events. I don't know, like the video and comment if you agree. I feel like that's fair. Not every other round, just the very first one. I feel like they shouldn't do that. But anyway, because I was just getting so bad with the luck, I started to hate the category. I started to avoid the category, and I ultimately stopped doing it, which is why every other category except for Corroded Mind and Body has been covered up till this point for the Legendary Goku event missions. But now I had to sit down and just get through it, which is why yesterday I spent hours trying to get this done. It has nothing to do with skill, it has everything to do with luck. Luck plays a role on this event. It's just how it is. Sometimes you need to have fortunate rolls in your favor so that you can get the things you want to do going. You have to have your rotations figured out. You have to make sure that the attack distributions are even or not ridiculously unfair. There's a lot that goes into it. I'm not saying it's all luck, but there is a degree of luck involved, and it was not going my way. Finally, I broke through with this team, but that did not happen until I had first tried actually some pretty decent runs with some other teams. Now, as I've mentioned before in previous videos, I will be doing live streams and other videos in the future going over the teams that I had in mind, other teams, alternate teams that don't necessarily use the main go-to leader or the main go-to archetype. So to that end, I'm going to kind of get that started in this video by discussing some of the teams that I also use. Now, these teams, while I always recommend some alternate teams in other videos, these were actually tested. The other teams that I mentioned in other videos, like I mentioned in those videos, they have not been tested. I never got to try them out because I used the primary team that I've won with. But for these teams that I'm about to show you, I actually tried them several times each, and I did pretty well. And I feel like there's a lot of promise with some of the concepts that come from these team builds. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. So obviously, this is the main team. We've got the STR Bojack, Int Bojack. We've got the free-to-play Dokkan event drop Int Frieza with his EZA. We've got the Gem Shop free-to-play AGL Cooler with his EZA. LR Prime Battle Frieza. LR Turles. That's my team, and then I brought the friend STR Bojack. Everybody here fits both Space Traveling Warriors as well as Terrifying Conquerors, so it's no harm, no foul. For the alternate teams, There is obviously the common denominator being the Bojack lead, because that's just what I wanted to do. At this point, I was just like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to try every other team that I can think of with Bojack as the leader. I worked hard to get him to his max links. I'm going to keep him here. I brought a predominantly free-to-play team, and this team was really good. Really good, because I lucked out early with a decent start. I actually got... Well, let me just tell you. So I got Bojack as my leader, Rosie and Kakunsa on one rotation, and then I got the Frieza and the Cooler free-to-play on the other rotation. And then the last unit is Topo. And then, of course, the friend unit is the Bojack. For that team, I'm going to show you some clips, actually. I'm going to see if I can. But basically what I did on that team was I kept the Bojacks untransformed. When they're untransformed, they provide some support for space traveling warriors. And since everybody here is space traveling warriors, every single turn, with the exception of one, so 2 out of my 3 turns, I would have an extra key +2 attack and defense +30% for all allies, which actually was very useful. And it allowed for some of my units to boost their stats faster, therefore tanking faster. And then, of course, giving that also to the Bojack allowed for the Bojack to use his own super attack to raise his stats more and more. And a couple of times I got lucky with some additional supers, which made him even more tanky. So this strategy, I only tried, I think, twice, because the first time was kind of a bad start. The second time went really, really well. It was a really, really good plan. It was a really good plan. Double free-to-play rotations with only pay-to-plays as flex spots. That's not something you hear every day. So the free-to-play implications on this category are pretty good. And I would like to try this again in the future. But Rosie and Kakunsa, a lot of people recommend them. I don't recommend you bring Rosie and Kakunsa with Frieza and AGL Cooler as the other rotation, just because there's not enough damage going around where you're actually going to come across some bad luck eventually. Like, your luck will run out because you're going to keep on tanking and getting stronger, but all it's going to take is that one rotation where you've got like 10 attacks happening at the end, and either you break protocol and you break up your units, or you just sit there and take the damage with the help of an item. Because these guys stack so slowly compared to summonable units, it's going to take a very long time to get to where you want to go, and some things can go wrong along the way. And that's what happened basically with me. I think I got to the final stage, and then my luck just ran out. I used up all my items, I had to protect all my units. Bojack was still untransformed, if I'm not mistaken. It just didn't work out because my luck ran out. So, as far as a free-to-play team, obviously, you know, you're going to have some luck on your side. You're going to have some units that can kind of get the ball rolling. You got to have some tanks, and there's a lot of other things you need. But for this particular team build, it just didn't work out for me. Could have been just RNG. I feel like I actually could have won if things were a little bit luckier. But you know me, luck is non-existent. But you guys should try this team out, because when you're under 70%, which is going to be quite a bit, what's probably going to happen for a lot of your rotations is you're going to come into a turn with around like 50-60%, and then you'll heal it all back up because your units will be stacking so much in the meantime that you'll heal it back up. But during that 70% interval, your Topo can then start to tank 40% of the damage that he receives, which is a very, very useful thing. Now, mind you, a lot of my units involved on these runs are max links. So obviously the strategy remains the same. I had stacking on one rotation with the Vegeta and the Bojack, the other stackers for the free-to-play units on the other side. The problem here, though, is that while the two Wicked Bloodline free-to-plays get along, the Vegeta and the Bojack don't. Unless, of course, you keep Bojack untransformed, because then you get extra ki. But the thing is, when you want to have stacking, one of them is going to have to transform. So what I did was I had one of the Bojacks transform. I had the other one not transform. And you might be wondering why I didn't bring Cooler. The reason why I didn't bring Cooler is because Cooler is a Terrifying Conquerors and Transformation Boost lead, and sadly the STR Topo is not a Transformation Boost or a Terrifying Conquerors unit, so he wouldn't fit. He would only fit under the Space Traveling Warriors leader skill. So if you're going to bring him, and he's really good, then you're going to have to bring double Bojack. And I should also mention, there's one more strategy that I didn't talk about, but I will talk about in a future video. There's actually some really, really powerful promise in the Universe 11 category. I will go over that in a future video because I'd like to see if I can get that done. I feel like it is very possible. I did really, really well on my first try with it. So I'm going to keep pushing for that one, and I'll let you know later on in the future how that one looks. But Space Traveling Warriors has a lot of promise because there's a wide variety of units that you can use. Whether or not they're optimal is a different story, but at least you have more options. And that's a huge relief when looking at that category compared to something like Connected Hopes. I saw you guys' comments yesterday talking about why Spirit Sword Trunks isn't there, why the Vegito Blue isn't there, I think you said, or, you know, whatever. The point is, the category is stupid. All right, so now we're at the Int Super Saiyan 4 stage. I'm still kind of blanking on what I did here. I think I'm trying to decide if I want to use an item or not, because we've got a lot of damage coming in on the first slot, but we still have some hits at the end we got to worry about. And I think, if I remember correctly, this run ended really, really close. I think I won by the skin of my teeth, and at this point, I just didn't care about style points. I just wanted to get it done. So we transformed Turles for the second time, and then I try to decide, am I using another item so early into the fight? I have basically 2 rounds left. Goku is unharmed, and I've still got the Tech Full Power Super Saiyan 4. So, am I going to do it? Nope, I'm going to roll the dice. And obviously it pays off. Where is he going to hit me, actually? I don't remember. This cooler, I gotta say, man, this cooler is amazing. I'm so glad that I switched out the STR Dokkan Fest cooler for this guy, because the amount that he gives you defensively and healing and tanking is something that you really miss on this team. Because, like I said, the 2 marquee Dokkan Fests, they're so strong, but their defense sucks. Not normally, but like at the end on this level and beyond, their defense is terrible. You need to save your items for these rounds because you have such weak defensive units. That cooler can attack up to 3 times in 1 turn, and that happened to me quite a bit. I maxed out his additional when I got his EZA, and he's been nothing but a godsend. The free-to-play side of this team was absolutely 100% relaxing. I was never stressed. I was never worried that something was going to go wrong because they always pulled through for me. Now here, I'm trying to decide, do I want to use an item because Prime Battle Frieza is about to take the beating of a lifetime, getting hit with like 5 attacks. So then I'm looking at his stats. I'm trying to decide if I even have the ability to let him use a regular super because his Ultra Super doesn't give him greatly raising of attack and defense. It does Mega Colossal, and I believe it lowers the enemy's attack and defense, but it doesn't stack my own. So I was a little concerned because while Frieza's great, especially at max links, the problem here is that he gains Ki +3 as a first or third attacker, so that's already Ki +3, and then another Ki +3 when attacking superclass enemies. That's Ki +6. So if you give him a 12 Ki super in the first or third slot, you're going to get an Ultra Super. And normally that's good because you're going to do a lot of damage, but here you want to be stacking his attack and defense as much as possible, not doing damage. Unless, of course, you are 100% confident you can get a crit and kill the guy, which, honestly, this Frieza is very capable of. This Frieza, with max links and max critical, ridiculous. And that's exactly what I did. This Frieza's been maxed out for a long time. We did 2.45, whatever. I think that was just a regular... No, that was the Ultra Super. So we did 2.5 million on a crit with an Ultra Super. That's Dokkan Fest level. That's like Cooler level. That's like Bojack level. So, you see my point. That Prime Battle Frieza is worth bringing. Really is. Because also you get that extra key for people. Because you also get that extra key. Ooh, this is looking like a good turn. Okay. Alright, so no items wasted here. Wow. Alright, so Cooler's going to get a couple more cheap shots in here. I think the threshold for AGL units to stand their own against the Tech Super Saiyan 3 Goku at the end, the Tech Super Saiyan 4 Goku at the end, I think the threshold for the defense is like 540,000. I could be completely wrong, but I think that's what it was. And when I say threshold, I mean like if you used your AGL Cooler and he had 540,000 defense, when going into a super attack, you can survive it with relative ease. It's not going to be like you'll take 180, 250,000 and then, you know, all heck breaks loose. No. You actually can hold your own, and I think you'll take like 6,000 at most, or like 35 or something like that. I don't remember the exact number, but you guys can let me know in the comments if I'm anywhere close to that value. I don't remember what I read. So here we go, the final stage. I've got Bojack almost at 1 million. I still got Turles, who's surprisingly robust. He did not cause me any problems, and now I'm dealing with a conundrum. Remember what I said, taking the beating of your life with like 8 attacks in 1 slot? That's what's happening here. So I'm trying to decide between using Whis or giving up my Frieza for the final round for a couple of turns. Frieza at this point has been stacking quite a bit too. It's not like he's going to do a bunch of damage, but he still does a decent amount. But I ultimately decide to have the Bojack go first alongside the help of the Whis, and then have the Frieza tank all the hits in the back, which honestly is the best call because The alternative would have been Frieza going first, tanking 3 hits, as opposed to Frieza tanking, what, 6 hits? So math-wise, it's obviously much more of a smarter decision. But then this dude supers my Bojack. And then I'm just like, alright, so it seems like either way I do this, I'm probably in trouble. We take 178,000. The good news is that with that attack, we're not taking any more the rest of the turn, because the rest of these attacks are just going to be, like, it's not going to do anything. It's like a pillow fight. Also, doesn't this Frieza, when he uses a super attack, doesn't it look like he's absorbing energy instead of blasting it? Okay, make sure to look out for that the next time he super attacks, which won't be for a couple of turns, but let's see. So we've taken down 1 bar of health, 1.5, and we still have 3 items left, so we're looking pretty good. And now the questioning comes back, right? Can AGL Cooler handle himself? I don't know. Do we take a chance? Nope! We instead put the defensive boost in place to move that AGL Cooler over the threshold, if not already, so that he can tank whatever's headed his way. The chances of it even being a super attack, I think... Hey, what happened last turn? Did we get supered first? Oh, we did. So it's actually pretty high that we're going to get supered here at the beginning. Because normally how long it takes for a super attack to launch from the enemy is basically the same positioning as the original super attack. So we get a couple defense boosts in here. On top of the 8er boost, so everything is scaled up to 11. I just love that he's almost always doing 3 super attacks for me here, man. That's... Okay, so here we go. So this is where it's put to the test. How are we going to be doing damage-wise? We are taking 33. So that could be a byproduct of Cooler's base defense. That could be a byproduct of Cooler's base defense with the item, which means Cooler's base defense still isn't enough to hold his own. Or it's that we've already crossed the threshold for a while and there's no turning back. So, let's see. Also, to go back to what I mentioned about the free-to-play teams, if you're going to bring free-to-play teams, that's more of a long game. You got to bring people like Cooler. Cooler does a guaranteed crit, can attack multiple times. He can push the game up and keep the pace going instead of holding back and then waiting for things to happen. So actually, Cooler's a really good balance for this maneuver because Cooler got Goku in emergency mode while our free-to-plays kept things protected and secure while we went off causing chaos. Alright, so now we got the Int Bojack and the transformed STR Bojack together, both max links. Actually, this entire rotation is max links. Everybody on this rotation is fully maxed out. Unfortunately, my Turles is only 55%. But this is going to do oodles of damage. Also, the dude wasn't dodging. Just wasn't dodging. So, how much are we doing here? 4 million. 3.5. That's pretty good. This dude has no stacking whatsoever. He's just an LR. And that too, an old LR. So, shout out to Bojack, the LR Bojack, for becoming relevant again and being so devastating. One of the best team support super attacks in the game with a 40% attack boost when he uses an Ultra Super. But look, he's not going to take any damage. Even with this. Child's play. Boop. Okay, never mind. That was actually a lot. Oh, wait, no. He supered the STR Bojack. Oh, that's why. He supered the STR Bojack. See, I thought he supered the other Bojack. Okay. All right. And now we're at the final stretch. We've got 2 free-to-plays. We've got 1 Dokkan Fest. The 1 Dokkan Fest is at 1.5 million. But looking at the health, it made me question, what exactly should I do here? Should I go for the win? Or should I go for the safer play and keep the free-to-plays together? So that's where I'm like kind of pondering and checking. And I think, you know what? With a guaranteed crit, all we got to do is hit once, and I'm pretty sure we're going to win. So just in case we fail, I'll have the Frieza on the back end protecting us from any slaps over there. And then I was also a little bit worried that the Cooler thing might get me killed right here. And I guess this is where RNG kind of plays a factor, right? Because you can never really know for sure. But I mean, look, I'm still putting in work. I got my defense ready to go. So, dude, we're prepared for this turn. We're all kinds of prepared. We also have a Dokkan attack coming up, but it was never going to get to that. So with this super attack, we do have a 1.5 million attack stat combined with a crit. This could be the win, and it is! And there we go, I'm so tired. That is Space Traveling Warriors. I cannot believe how difficult this was for me. Again, it was all RNG. RNG was stupid. It was mean, but I got it done. And that just leaves one more category, Corroded Mind and Body, which will be dropping tomorrow. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed those. No. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like down below and let me know in the comments your thoughts on this team. How would you rate this team compared to your own? Were there any units that were surprising on this showcase that maybe you didn't expect to be as good as they were? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe for more dope content in the future and click the notification bell so that you let YouTube know you want to see more of my stuff. Do it! Thanks again, stay tuned, and always remember to responsibly.